Thank you for joining our masterclass. Today we want to show how you can birth unafraid. We'll share the necessary shifts our confident mamas master to birth fearlessly with peace, calm, and confidence. Even if things don't go as planned, with or without an epidural or other interventions, we'll show you how to birth with peace and confidence no matter what.
So let's dive right in and get to the amazing content we have for you today. First off, let's talk about who this webinar is for.
This webinar is for mamas to be like you. Maybe you don't currently feel confident and filled with peace at the thought of having your baby, but you know you want to. You want to birth without fear and uncertainty, and you want to have knowledge that transforms the way you birth. The fact that you clicked on this link tells us that you want to be a confident mama.
Pregnancy should be a joyful time, not full of stress and worry, but too many mamas-to-be are filled with fear. At Birth Unafraid, we use our proven Birth with Peace process to help you transform the way you think so you can birth with confidence and peace no matter what.
So today we're going to share with you how your mindset before and during labor can actually predict what kind of birth experience you'll have.
We're also going to share how you can radically shift the way you view labor and birth from a place of fear and uncertainty to peace and confidence. Even if you've had a previously difficult labor and birth, or you've been scared by other people's birth horror stories.
We're also going to talk about how it's possible to improve your experience of labor and decrease the need for interventions, even if you have a low pain tolerance.
And we'll talk about how it's possible to experience calm and peace during labor, even if you're someone who finds it hard to relax at the best of times.
And finally, we'll talk about how our proven Birth with Peace process can make all of this possible.
By the end of this masterclass, you'll know exactly what it takes to birth unafraid and the steps you need to take right now so that you can feel happy, prepared, and confident about birth, no matter what.
So we just want to check in with you. Does this sound like you? Are you bombarded by an avalanche of fear-based information, opinions, perhaps myths that leave you feeling afraid and confused?
Do you find yourself worrying about how your labor and birth will turn out?
Are you afraid of pain?
Have you been hearing tons of negative stories and experiences from people around you, and you don't know how to avoid that happening to you and your baby?
Or maybe you want to do everything in your power to improve outcomes for you and your baby, but you don't know where to start.
Do you hope your birth story will be the exception to all of the negative horror stories you've heard, but you just don't know how to make that a reality?
Well, if all of this sounds like you, then we have really good news. None of these things are the real problem.
So what is the real problem, Sandy?
Well, the real problem is that we haven't made what we call the shifts. So we're going to talk about those in just a second. But for now, just know this. Once you make them, you'll finally be able to make that nagging feeling of dread and fear about your birth a thing of the past.
You'll have a calm confidence about your labor and birth that you never thought possible.
You'll be able to control fear rather than it controlling you.
And you'll know that you have given yourself and your baby the absolute best chance to have your best birth.
All right, so I think before we go any further, we should take a minute to introduce ourselves so that people listening to this know who we are and why they should take the time to listen to us.
Good idea.
So I'm Sandy.
And I'm Tamara.
And we both specialize in helping mamas to be birth with confidence and peace no matter what.
We've been working with women just like you for the past 25 years, providing obstetrical care as midwives. We have over 50 years of combined experience and have attended over 2,000 labors and births. We've educated midwifery students through the Ontario Midwifery Education Program at McMaster University as adjunct professors, sessional instructors, and clinical preceptors.
We've worked with countless mamas-to-be over the years, and needless to say, we've seen firsthand how fear can negatively impact birth experiences and outcomes.
Over the years, we watched many of our clients struggle with birth-related fear and anxiety, while others appeared to experience pregnancy, labor, and birth from a place of peace and confidence.
And we also noticed that women who were happier about their births were those who were peaceful, calm, and unafraid during their birthing time.
The women who struggled were so focused on the pain of labor and the what ifs that they just didn't know how to get free from fear.
So we set out to find out exactly how our clients who were giving birth with confidence and peace were preparing themselves for birth. So we wanted to make sure it was something that could be repeated over and over again by even the most anxious and fearful mamas to be. So we compiled up-to-date scientific literature in the areas of cognitive behavioral therapy, relaxation therapy, and mindset work in order to create effective tools and techniques that could be mastered by anyone, including you.
The results blew our minds. Clients who used our program were able to birth confidently, calmly, peacefully, and with decreased discomfort. The results were so dramatic that even other healthcare providers were in awe of how easily these women labored and how visibly calm and in control they were, even in birth situations that were stressful and didn't go as planned.
So the bottom line is this: there are 4 key shifts you must make so you can learn to birth with peace and confidence. We're going to walk you through them now.
So let's start with shift number 1. This shift we call don't birth with your eyes closed.
Many mamas-to-be start their birthing journey blindly, hoping for the best, but not wanting to confront their fears or what it takes to birth unafraid. In order to make the first shift, you've got to open those eyes wide, mama. Opening your eyes means being prepared for the journey, and it's the first necessary step in equipping yourself to birth with peace and confidence.
Oh, so it's like being prepared helps equip you to respond rather than just react to whatever you may face, right?
Exactly. Reacting always comes from a place of uncertainty and fear, but when you're prepared, you can respond to whatever situation you face from a place of peace and confidence.
So you could kind of think of it this way. Most of us would never go out into the wilderness without the proper provisions and equipment. You wouldn't drive out to a remote area, leave your car, and trek into the woods without having the right amount of food and a tent and the right clothing with you and all the things you need to survive, would you?
No, of course you wouldn't.
But the reality is that most pregnant women, they get pregnant without preparing themselves for the journey of labor and birth.
And then add to that fear of pain and fear of something bad happening, the most common concerns about childbirth, and you have a negative birth experience just waiting to happen.
And listen to these statistics. According to a recent study, over 70% of women in the second trimester of pregnancy reported having moderate anxiety about birth, and 25% reported having severe anxiety. Sound like pretty bad stats, but just wait, it gets even worse. The same study showed that the closer these women got to their birthing time, the more anxious they became, with over 93% of women in the study reporting that their anxiety had become severe in the third trimester.
So perhaps as you're listening to this, you aren't severely anxious yet, but according to the research, it shows that there is a good chance that you may be later on.
And did you know that women who are afraid of birth often have longer labors, increased pain, and decreased satisfaction with birth?
Who wants that?
Not anybody I know. So the good news is that by preparing for labor and birth with the tools that you will master in Birth Unafraid, you can actually decrease the likelihood of these negative outcomes, and you can learn to birth with peace and confidence.
So how can you be prepared to birth with eyes wide open and learn to not just react, but respond to your circumstances with confidence and peace, no matter what happens, you may ask?
Yeah, well, I'm so glad you did ask that. That brings us to shift number 2. And shift number 2 is all about creating a new birth message unit.
Now, hold up. You might be thinking, what on earth is a birth message unit and how do I get one?
Well, birth message units are part of our subconscious mind, where we store information about our beliefs, emotions, and physical responses to our circumstances. It's where we file and retrieve information that we've learned from past experiences.
So they're kind of like memories, but have way more impact on us.
Exactly. And we all have an infinite number of message units stored up and created by our observations and life experiences. For example, we have a family message unit, an education message unit, and of course,
birth message unit, yeah?
Bingo. Our birth message unit is made up of our personal beliefs and opinions about birth.
But that's a good thing, right?
It is, but unfortunately, far too many mamas-to-be have birth message units that are stuffed full of negative information about pregnancy and birth.
You're right. Most women grow up hearing birth horror stories from family and friends, not to mention all of the inaccurate, fear-filled, and negative portrayals of birth as seen on TV, in movies, and on social media, I find.
Yeah, so all of these negative and scary influences cause far too many of us to develop a distorted birth message unit without even realizing it.
Yeah, that's right. But the question is, what can you do if, like millions of other mamas to be, you too have a distorted birth message unit built on a foundation of fear and anxiety?
You'll be relieved to know that there's a way to deconstruct and reconstruct or rewire your birth message unit without having to become a neurosurgeon.
Being a productive participant in reconstructing or changing your birth message unit is absolutely vital because of how our bodies react to the messages being sent from these message units.
That's so true. With a distorted birth message unit, which most people have, the mere mention of the word labor or birth kicks that stress response into high gear. Your heart rate increases, stress hormones are released, and all of that fearful anxiety takes over. Which can really slow down your labor and cause more pain, neither of which are wanted during your birthing time.
That is true. But on the other hand, once your birth message unit is reconstructed and built upon a good foundation, your body responds to the word labor with the relaxation response instead. So heart rate decreases, breathing is easy, blood flow increases, which means more oxygen for you and your baby. And those glorious relaxation, pain relieving hormones are released.
Yeah, these are the same hormones that help block the perception of pain and can also contribute to faster labors. Two things that are definitely wanted during your birthing time.
Absolutely. But how? How can you build a rock solid positive birth message unit?
Well, this is where we tell you about our secret weapon that can become your secret weapon too. The secret weapon is our Birth with Peace process. Sandy, what is the Birth with Peace process?
It is a 6-step method that teaches you how to deconstruct your old fear-based birth message unit and how to build a new birth message unit on a foundation of peace and confidence.
Well, until relatively recently, experts believed that our brains were fixed by early adulthood and that it was almost impossible to create new neurons and neural pathways to message units as we age.
That is correct, but the latest research has proven the exact opposite, that our brains can grow, change, and rewire throughout our lives.
So you actually have the ability to deconstruct and then reconstruct new pathways to your message units, right?
Absolutely. And even better, research shows that our message units actually prefer the newer, fresher pathways. How cool is that?
That's amazing. It's like choosing to drive on a smooth, freshly paved road versus an old, bumpy dirt road that you're more likely to get a flat tire on.
Correct. There are so many benefits to rebuilding your birth message unit. For example, one of our clients, Jillian, used the tools to overcome her fear of pain and anxiety about whether or not she could make it through her labor and birth. She learned how to create her new birth message unit so that she could have the birth she always dreamed of, full of confidence, peace, and power. So let's just hear a couple minutes about her story.
Hi, my name is Jillian.
My name's Jamie, and we just want to give you a testimony of our experience with the Birth Unafraid class that we took in 2019.
We just wanted to talk today about how Birth Unafraid really changed our perspective of labor and birth. I, like many women, was surrounded by the narrative that birth is scary, painful, long, and out of your control. But after taking the course and using the tools provided, I really found that completely changed my perspective and completely changed how the birth actually went.
After experiencing our first class and our first visualization, I did feel like this could work, and we just had a great experience with the home birth, creating an atmosphere of relaxation and just feeling like we were both very calm in the situation.
And actually, we originally were going to have a hospital birth, but it was after doing the course that we decided we would do a home birth because of the tools and techniques that we learned. So for me, the most important part were the scripts and the breathing techniques. So I used the scripts a lot in the weeks leading up to the birth. I listened to them multiple times a day. I would often fall asleep to one of them, just playing softly on my phone. And I found that they were very, very helpful to get me into that calm, relaxed, and in the zone. Whereas with the breathing too, I found I would use the breathing techniques while I was listening to the scripts, but also I often used them when I had started to get Braxton Hicks or practice surges. I would use the breathing techniques to breathe through them, and that just really helped me when I actually went into labor, because I knew what the techniques were, and it was easy for me to fall into that pattern.
And from my experience, it was largely just feeling like a partner in what was going on. I think when you're not experiencing the development of the baby and not feeling what's going on, it's hard to be empathetic. But to take this course and really understand what Jillian was going through, and more so how I could help, which was really nice. During the pregnancy, we would go through some of the visualizations together, and then more so in the birth, I just felt like I had a huge arsenal of tactics to help Jillian feel better. I feel like the whole time I was just counting her through all of the surges, and it was just it was really nice to give me some confidence going into the labor.
Yeah, and the labor actually progressed quite quickly for us. So active labor was only 5.5 hours. Every surge, every pressure wave that I had, we breathed through it together. I stayed calm the entire time. As I had the time and as long as I was aware, Jamie counted me through every single one of them, and they were all manageable. And then the pushing stage it took 45 minutes. It felt like 5. It felt like it went so fast. And again, I was able to stay calm through the whole thing using the techniques that I learned from Birth Unafraid.
Yeah, we just really can't recommend the course enough. We both really had a great experience, and for me it was truly the confidence going into the labor, and just having those tactics and those techniques to use, and just feeling like a partner in the whole process. That was very significant for me.
Yeah, and after the birth, I just wanted to tell everybody I knew about this course, but also about how you can have a calm birth, and you can be in control, and you can have a good and beautiful experience. And I think it's so important to tell women and to confirm our experience, because people just have
like a negative view.
Yeah, they really do. Anyway, thank you so much, and that's it from us.
Thanks.
In order to experience the great benefits Jillian just talked about, you must make the next shift.
Shift number 3, practice makes peaceful.
Practice doesn't always make perfect, but practice can make peaceful. The Birth of Peace process tools will teach you how to be peaceful in your birthing journey, no matter what.
But the only way you can make these tools work for you is to practice, practice, practice. There's no shortcut. You must commit to the daily discipline of practice.
Unless you plan on finishing dead last, you wouldn't dare decide to run a marathon without putting in hours and hours and hours of preparation, right?
Correct.
Well, preparing your mind, body, and spirit for birth is similar to training for a marathon. Preparation is essential if you wish to have a peaceful, positive, joy-filled birth experience, and regular, purposeful practice is a must.
Yes, mastering the tools needed to reconstruct birth message units takes commitment and time. In fact, it takes about 30 minutes a day for 6 weeks to break down and rebuild a new message unit.
So frequent peace-filled practice is key. Without peaceful practice, there will be no change in your birth message unit, nor any change in your body's response to the thought and then the actual event of labor and birth.
Mastering the tools is key in achieving a calm, peaceful birth with decreased discomfort and less interventions.
With all that in mind and everything we've talked about, you may still have some questions. You may be wondering,
will the birth with peace process work for me?
The answer is anyone and everyone can learn to deconstruct and reconstruct a new birth message unit. You can retrain your brain.
You might also ask, will I be in a trance-like state or in another realm while you're using these tools?
No. When using the tools, you're not unconscious, submissive to another's will, or in an eerie trance-like state. You are fully conscious, aware of your surroundings, and fully in control of your mind and body. You will learn to be prepared, productive, peaceful, and present. You'll be amazed at how focused and yet fully relaxed you could be during your birthing time.
Another question that might come to mind is Birth Unafraid or the Birth with Peace process a new age type approach?
Absolutely not. Birth Unafraid is rooted in science and evidence-based birth practice. It's not a power of the mind or law of attraction manifestation type practice. Rather, what you're learning to do is fully optimize the functioning of your mind and body in such a way that the likelihood of things going right is greatly increased.
So what we know from research and anecdotal evidence is that when mamas-to-be use these tools, pain perception is decreased, outcomes are improved, and satisfaction with birth is significantly increased. The Birth with Peace process teaches you how to leverage your body's natural ability to birth so that these outcomes can be possible for you too.
So far, you've learned that every mama-to-be can be free from fear so that they can experience the joy of having a beautiful, confident, peaceful birth.
We've talked about how research shows that women who are afraid and go into labor with a fear mindset tend to have increased interventions or things done to them, like epidurals, narcotics, forceps vacuum, and cesarean birth.
Continue. Fear of birth is also associated with worse outcomes for babies, including a higher rate of admission to special care nurseries and decreased duration of breastfeeding beyond the 6-week mark. And perhaps worse than all of this is that women who are afraid often feel their birth was a negative experience. And this feeling of negativity or even a sense of loss and disappointment can lead to an increased chance of depression after the birth of their baby. But we've talked about a solution to all of this.
We've talked about how the foundation of your birth message unit plays a significant role in the outcome of your birth and your entire birthing experience, and how the Birth with Peace process equips you to reconstruct your birth message unit into a message unit built on a foundation of peace and confidence, so that you can birth faster with decreased pain and ultimately experience confidence, peace, and a joy-filled, beautiful birth.
We've told you about our expertise and how our proven Birth with Peace process can help you achieve a positive, empowering birth experience. It's testimonies like the ones you've heard today that inspire us to continue sharing Birth Unafraid and the powerful shifts you too can make.
Which leads us to the final shift you must make to become a confident mama, and that is to invest in a birthing mindset mentor.
So many fear-based programs teach you to focus on breath work, but we all know that breathing alone isn't effective in decreasing fear and discomfort. Pretending you're not afraid when you really are doesn't work either. Striving to only think positive thoughts doesn't prepare you for unexpected circumstances and certainly doesn't teach you how to have a beautiful, peaceful birth, even if those unexpected or unwanted circumstances occur.
And with the popular take it as it comes, learn as you go, everything will be fine approach, you can risk missing out on the opportunity to experience the powerful transformation that comes from being prepared, productive, present, practiced, and peaceful during your birth. You may miss out on the opportunity to feel the peace and joy that birthing a baby brings.
A birthing mindset mentor does 2 things for you. They give you new ideas and they give you accountability.
There are new ideas bouncing around in your head right now, I'm sure, new ways of thinking that you wouldn't have discovered if you didn't take time to listen to this webinar.
So a birthing mindset mentor is someone who can see exactly what mistakes mamas to be like you make when trying to create the birth of your dreams and can help you course correct as you go.
Yeah, that's right. It's someone who's been where you are and knows the way out, someone who knows the pitfalls to avoid and the adjustments that will accelerate your process of growth.
Yeah, someone you can ask questions and get direct feedback from, right?
Exactly. So don't try to do this alone. Find the best mentor out there and spend what it takes to work with them so that you're no longer in the same place because your new or renewed family and your life is worth it.
Yeah, it's not beneficial to anyone for you to stay in a place of being afraid, for sure.
Absolutely.
So today we promise to show you how your mindset before and during labor can actually predict what kind of birth experience you'll have.
How you can radically shift the way you view labor and birth from a position of fear and uncertainty to the one of peace and confidence, no matter what.
We've shown you how our proven birth with peace process can give you the tools you need to have a bulletproof mindset.
And we've talked about how fully optimizing your mind and body connection by using these tools can guarantee to expect calm and peace during your birthing time, no matter what happens or how you birth your baby.
We shared with you what you need to become a calm, peaceful, confident mama during your birthing time.
Many mamas to be invest in items like expensive name brand strollers and cribs, which are wonderful. I did the same. But that's where we invest so much in the items that we use after birth and never invest in the one part of the process that has such significant long-term impact on the well-being of themselves and their baby. Your birthing experience will remain with you forever. It truly will.
Now you have a choice. You can either take all the information we've shared with you today, forget about it, and continue as you are, stuck in a place of doubt, fear, anxiety, and worry about your birthing time.
Or you can be the person who completely changes her birth story. You can begin to create a new birth message unit on a foundation of peace and confidence. You can learn to name and tame the monster of fear so that you can have freedom from fear and learn how to face any situation that comes up from a place of total surrender, peace, and joy, no matter what.
You can make Birthing Unafraid a reality for yourself and your baby. Imagine proudly sharing your birth story with other mamas to be and how good it will feel to be able to share your story from a place of satisfaction and peace, regardless of how or where you birth.
Not to mention how empowering it will be to tell your child about their birth and how they were born with peace and confidence.
And this can be you. You can birth unafraid, and you can have a positive birth story to share.
Our team has set aside some time in the next 48 hours to speak with you personally about how you can begin to achieve freedom from fear and learn how to birth from a place of peace and confidence, no matter what.
Whatever your biggest challenges are, we've seen them and we know how to overcome them. We would love to speak with you on the phone. It takes only about 30 minutes of your time. The cost of the call?
Absolutely free.
But here's the catch. This is not for everybody. Here is who this is for.
It's for mamas to be who are tired of being overwhelmed by fear and who want to be free from fear so that they can birth from a place of joy, peace, and confidence.
It's for mamas to be who are committed to investing the time to make the shifts and who are willing to put in the practice to make the birth of their dreams a reality.
You must be coachable.
Yeah, that means you have to be able to follow directions. You're decisive and resourceful. If you like to sign up for things and not follow through, this is not really for you. Please understand that this is not magic. You are the only one who can change where your birthing mindset is at right now. We can only give you the tools to do so, but the tools, if not applied, will not work for you.
So that's it. If you meet these two requirements, we are inviting you to book a session now.
If you want to be a confident mama, click the link, book a session now, and let's talk.
And again, just a reminder that we do this because we love to see fearful women become the confident mamas they want to be. And we are truly committed to helping you make this transformation.
Yeah, we do this because we really want mamas to be everywhere, to know that birthing with confidence and peace is possible.
We know you may want and likely need our help in creating this transformation. And you know it too. That's probably why you've been so patient and stuck around this long, making it to the end of this webinar.
So if that's you, let's discuss and see if it's a good fit for both of us. If not, that's fine too.
It was great getting to talk to you.
Remember, go to the link, book a call with us.
We look forward to speaking to you very soon.
Bye-bye.